What's up, Timmy Academy? Welcome back. I've got my nice shirt on today. We are going to be doing probably a fairly helpful discussion on how to sell a collection. So I'm going to approach this from the standpoint of you have no idea what you have. Either you went to a yard sale and you bought a bunch of cards and you know they're worth something and you're trying to sell them and make a profit, or you used to play, been out of the game for 10 years, noticed that prices were going crazy, and you decided to sell your collection because it's just been sitting in the closet. Most people who are selling a collection are probably somewhere in between super knowledgeable on the market and have no idea what they have, but we'll approach it from the perspective of having no idea where to start, what you have, and just seeing a bunch of different cards with different set symbols, and kind of where to go from there. So there's a few different ways you can approach it. You have to first consider, are you trying to get the most money for your collection, or are you trying to make it hassle-free and be easy and quick? And those two things that's gonna be where you first start. So, but first, for everyone, maybe this isn't large enough. Let's see here. There's one place that everyone wants to start, regardless of whether it's gonna be a quick transaction that's, you put it up, it gets sold within 5-6 hours, you're done with it. It's one lot and game over. But everyone's going to want to start here. The TCG Player app, which is the easiest way to determine the value of your cards, or TCG Collection Tracker. So dealers like the collection tracker for the simple fact that it's really easy to sort. I can pull all the information from it, put it into a spreadsheet, crunch a bunch of numbers, figure out what my percentages are, and make you an offer in about, honestly, 10 minutes. If your conditions are wildly bad, worse than LP, mostly MP and HP, moderately played and heavily played, well then the collection tracker is going to be fairly accurate, but then you'll have to do some adjusting for conditions. But when we're looking at selling a collection, whether you're using the app, which can be found in any of the app stores, Google Play Store, or whatever you iPhone users use, I don't know what it's called. But the app is going to be easy for the seller because it's got a scanner and you can scan in all the cards and determine what the value is. The tracker is what dealers like to use. Either or, I go off of app as well, but it takes a little more questions and screenshots and that kind of stuff. Either way, if you're going with either, this is what you're going to set it to. Market low. That's very important. This is the tried and true market valuation that dealers and most sellers know to use. And the reason that we all use market low is because in LP condition, TCG Player market low is going to pull the lowest listed on TCG Player. So if you want that card in LP condition, which is the condition of most cards generally, you can go on TCG Player right now and pay market low. Now sometimes there's some screwy things with shipping costs and whatnot, but for the most part, TCG market low is what we're looking at. Now, if you're going off of the app, at the bottom of the app, you're going to set to market low, you're going to go to U at the bottom of the app. There's a couple things on the very right hand side There's U, and then you go to settings, and it's got that little, that little wheel thing. Forgive me, quick drawings. And then you're going to go to pricing, and under pricing it'll say market low, or marketplace low, I think. Now, if you've already scanned in your list and it's at the default setting, you don't need to go back in and rescan the list. Just go to use settings, pricings, and set it to market low, and it'll set your already scanned list to market low. Hold on one second. Now, if you're taking the time to put it all into the collection tracker, so if you go this route, you're just going to Google TCG Collection Tracker. I believe it's called TCG Collection Tracker Beta. So you'll Google that, it'll come up with a screen, and you have to manually input everything. It takes a little longer, but it's a lot easier to, if you're looking to sell your collection in 5 minutes, that's what you want to do. You send that to me, you send me a link to your collection tracker, I look at it, I have it sorted within 5 minutes, and I make you an offer right there. Now that you know how to initially evaluate kind of a rough range of what your collection is worth, now it's time to go through the expectations of how much you're actually going to get of that worth. Now, say you have a collection worth $5,000, right? If your collection is worth $5,000, you're not going to be able to sell your collection for $5,000, even if it's all high-end stuff. First of all, when we're talking about selling lots and selling collections, we're mostly looking for cards that are $2 and above. Anything under $2 is considered bulk. I'm going to do a whole video on bulk, what it is, how to get rid of it, why people buy it, why people sell it, and kind of why everything under $2 is considered bulk. Now, the fast rundown is, I'm a seller on TCG Player Direct program. If I sell a card that's worth $2, I net $1 after fees, and that doesn't include my time of sorting all those cards, of listing and grading all those cards. So essentially, selling a card for $2 nets me maybe 25 cents. So I can't pay you, 70% of $2 on this, because after fees I'm only bringing back in 50%, and then after labor and whatnot, I'm making maybe a quarter. So, it's just one of those things where under $2, it's not really even worth my time to list. I do list them. I'll usually stockpile a bunch of them, and then I'll just have one night where I just spend 6 hours and I list all those cards. Now, if it doesn't sell in the direct program and I have to direct sell it, well, that means I'm spending a stamp on it, I'm spending a fee on it, I'm spending the time to print an address label and put a return address stamp and actually stuff the envelope. So it's, this is about my return on it in actual currency, and really after time and labor and all that stuff, it's not really worth anything. So when you're talking about evaluating this stuff and evaluating the lists, if you send me a collection tracker and the low value is 5,000, the first thing I'm going to do is go through, I'm going to take every card that's worth under $2 and I'm going to get rid of it. Now, you can send me those cards if you want to, you can keep them if you want to, I don't care, I'm not paying for them. And that's how almost everybody feels. Some people, their threshold is $1, some people their threshold is $3, but for the most part, $2 is what you're going to find as your bulk limit threshold. Now, if you want to take the best way, let me rephrase that. The way to get the most money out of your collection is going to be to piecemeal it and sell it yourself. Now, that's good for some people. That's not good for other people. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a whole setup. I mean, you've seen my shipping setup. You've seen my desk. Everything in this office is set up for shipping efficiently and quickly and getting it turned over. Now, because I run a store, or a business, a magic business, I'm okay with having inventory sit there for 6 months. A moderately played foil card is going to sit in my inventory for 6 months before it sells. I'm okay with that because I constantly have inventory coming in and going out. So the money is constantly turning over. Now, if you're just selling one collection and you're trying to get rid of it as fast as you can and get money, piecemealing it out, while it will net you probably 80%, this is if you're going to piecemeal. So this is if you're selling singles, just like I do, and selling direct to consumer, or maybe you set up a TCG player shop and you stuff envelopes and all that kind of stuff. You're going to net about 80% after fees. Now, that also depends on the price of your cards. Let me back up. Okay. Before we get into piecemealing, let's finish this conversation of card worth and how that plays into the value. So everything under $2 is bulk. Between $2 and $5, most stores and most dealers are going to give you about 40% of the TCG low value. And the reason that is because between $2 to $5, I'm getting hit with 50% on TCG direct fees. Now, if I sell it direct to consumer, my fees are a little lower, but because it's a business, I have to take the worst case scenario, and if I'm selling at a 50% net after fees, well, then I can only give you 4%, so I can net 10. And we've talked about this multiple times. My target is 10%. Sometimes we're going to come in over at 20, sometimes we're going to come in under at 5. If I buy a modern collection and WotC decides that they're going to reprint a bunch of cards that I'm sitting on in inventory, prices are going to drop, and I'm probably going to net closer to 5, or maybe even come up with a loss on some things. It all balances out, but we're looking for 10% here. Profit majority of the time. So that's why I can only give you 40% on the $2 to $5 cards. Now, above $5, there's a little different pricing structure, and instead of a 50% fee on the $5 and above cards, I'm looking at probably anywhere between 15 for really high-end cards, but on average, you're looking at about 22-23%. So anything above $5, all the way up to however many $1,000 cards, I'm going to give you 70% on. Now that's my number. Some people do different. I like to do a flat 70. If it's a lot of foils, a lot of foreign, that kind of stuff, I do buy that stuff because I have outlets for those kind of things. But it might be closer to 65, but you're looking let's say between 65 and 70%. Okay? So you're going to net overall probably 60% on this $5,000 if that $5,000 is low value over $2. Now, I will pay you for bulk. We've talked about this in the past. I'll give you $4, $5 per 1,000 bulk cards. Maybe a little more if it's rare, uncommon, uncommon instead of just common and uncommon. And we'll do probably $7 to $8 for 1,000 basic lands. We've talked about why. Go watch my shipping video. And yeah, that's based on condition too. But so if you have a $5,000 collection based on your collection tracker or your TCG player app scan set to low, if say 500 of that is cards under $2. So you're looking at 4,500, right? Here's the list we're talking about. Then say 1,500 of that is cards in the $2 to $5 range. So what's 40% of 1,500? Well, half is 750, and then chop up another 10%. So you're looking at $600 for $2 to $5 cards. And so that leaves you with $3,000 of the high dollar cards, which I'm going to give you 70% on. So at $3,000, you're looking at $900 off of that for the 70%. So you're looking at $2,100, $5 plus $2,100. So you're looking at a total. I'm going to pay you $2,700 plus whatever $5 per thousand, $8 per thousand bulk prices. I buy accessories too. I kind of just talk about that as we're doing the deal. So if your collection is worth $4,500, you can sell it to me within 10 minutes, literally, for $2,700. As long as conditions are good, there's not too many foils, foreigns, that kind of stuff. Now, it seems like a huge jump, right? But even if you were to sell this by yourself and piece out the singles and set up the direct store and all that stuff and take all the time to do it, you're going to net maybe 80% overall on this when your fees balance out. So 4,500, that's 900 minus that, you're already at 3,600, right, to do it all yourself. And then you're gonna spend, let's say you have 1,000 orders you got to ship out. You're gonna spend $20 on stamps, or I'm sorry, you're gonna spend $20 on envelopes, and that's if you get it from Costco, the self seals. You're gonna spend 1,000 orders. You're looking at between $400 and $550 on stamps alone. So we'll say $475 on stamps. What else? Address labels. You'll probably spend about $30 on address labels. You'll spend $10 on a stamp. And then 1,000 orders, you're going to buy a case of top loaders. You're going to spend about $120 on a case of top loaders. Now, after that's all said and done, you're looking at 3,600 minus, well, 5, 31, minus 25, 30, 75, minus 130, 30, 45, 29, 45 is what you're going to net if you do it all yourself. And it's going to take a lot of time. And you're probably not going to sell everything. And you're going to be left over with some stuff. And now you can donate that stuff to a local magic club and do a bunch of things with it. You can give it to friends or whatnot. But essentially, you're netting an extra $245 and doing a bunch of work, and it's going to take you 6 months. Or you can sell it to me for $2,700. And this is how I make my living, making that $245. So it's all about what route you want to go. If you have the time to do it, I'm all for selling it. You might even be able to, if you've got some higher end stuff, you can go on Facebook and sell it at 10% off. You know, you're going to take, again, we're always talking TCG low. You're going to take a 3% hit because if you don't have references on the Facebook groups, you're going to have to do everything through PayPal goods and services, so your buyers feel protected, and you'll probably have to eat that cost. You might be able to tax the person who's buying depending on the order, but overall you're going to take a 13% hit on the higher end stuff. So you might be able to bump this up to maybe $3,100, but most people find that the best way to do it is to come to a dealer like me who has everything set up, and you can sell it for 10 minutes for $2,700. Now it seems like a lot off of this initial $4,500 price, and it is. But we just explained why. This is what it costs to ship 1,000 orders, and this doesn't even take into account your time. Now I have a super efficient setup, so 1,000 cards. I buy bulk pricing on stamps. I save some money here and there, so I could probably bump this up to 3,100, and then I might sell some of the higher end stuff on Facebook, and I have a whole slew of references. So most of my deals are done with with PayPal not taking any fees. So I could probably bump this up to maybe 32, 33, but essentially, general scenario, if everything kind of works out the way it's supposed to, and everything kind of flushes through correctly, if I'm spending $10,000, I'm going to make $1,000 on it. But it takes $10,000 to make that. So that's a rough breakdown of pricing your collection, what to expect. You will make more money if you do it yourself, but it's going to take a lot of time, and you have to get your system set up. Now, if you want to go this route, below is my email. If you need help setting up a TCG Player store or anything like that, reach out. Send me an email. I run my entire business on my phone, so just write in the subject line, Timmy Academy, help with selling collection or something like that, so I know who it's from and to respond to it rather quickly. If you want to go this route and just sell me your collection, shoot the email below. Now, that's how to price everything. The problem with scanning and having no idea where to start is having 10,000 cards and knowing which cards to scan and which cards to not scan. So we're going to go over a few simple things to kind of give you a guideline of, how to know whether something's worthless and how to know whether something's actually worth some money. Now, generally, if you have no idea what's going on in the world of Magic, or you haven't played since, set symbols didn't have rarity colors, the first thing to look for and pull out while you're sorting your collection to, price it all out and get it sold is going to be your set symbol. The set symbol is going to be in the middle of the card. So here's the art, here's the casting cost. Up here, here's the name of the card. Here's the art. Yeah. I actually took 2 years of art major in high school and am a self-declared artist. I've sold art for a living before. Not a very good living, but so times change. I'm actually an okay artist, but for the purposes of time constraints and whatnot. So here's, if it's a creature, it's going to have some stuff down here. Here's where you're looking for your set symbol. Okay? The older cards are not going to have a color-coded set symbol. They'll all be black, or there won't be a set symbol. Actually, some of the best cards are not going to have the best cards in the game, the most valuable cards in the game, for the most part. I'm using that term loosely. But essentially your alpha, your beta, your unlimited, where the power 9 live, the dual lands, that kind of stuff, is not going to have a set symbol. If it doesn't have a set symbol, it's early. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good, because there's stuff like 4th and 5th edition, which there is some value in, but those also don't have set symbols. We're getting a little in depth, but the first thing you're going to do, especially if you have a newer collection of cards, is you're going to look at the set symbols. There's red, which is mythic. There's gold, which is rare. There's silver, which is uncommon. And there's black, which is common. Now, some of them are a little hard to tell in certain sets like Exodus Exodus commons kind of look uncommon. You'll know when you hit a certain... Exodus is an old border frame, and it's got a little bridge. You'll know when you hit an uncommon because they look starkly different, but if you're just looking at a bunch of commons, they kind of look uncommon. So there's a couple sets where it's a little shaky, but essentially in... I might get this wrong. Was Urza block? I think Urza block. So we're looking at like 1998 was the first time they had set symbols. So on a lot of cards, you'll see there's going to be a year here. Nothing says 1993. So if something was printed in 1993, it's not going to have a year. Okay, so some people get confused. It might say 1993 to 2001 on the card. That doesn't mean it's 1993. That means it's 2001 printing. Okay, so 93 was the first year it was printed, and we're still printing them today. So in 1998, in Urza's block, we started getting colored set symbols. Now the first place you want to start when you're sorting your collection and figuring out if it's worth money is looking for these. Generally, now there are commons worth $20. Well, I think there's one common worth $20, but there's a bunch of commons worth between, I'd say, $1 and $20. You know, there's plenty of uncommons worth between $1 and I think the most expensive uncommon might be Cabal Coffers at like $60. Rares, you know, can go anywhere from $1, and obviously there's all of these there's less ones that are worth less than $1 too, but anywhere from $1 to, I don't know, what's the most expensive rare? Gold rare. I don't know, we'll say $100. And Mythic probably in the same range. So this is the most rare and least rare. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, there's going to be commons worth $20 and there's going to be mythics worth 20 cents. So it's not a perfect, but this is a good place to start and sort. And generally, if you don't know what you're doing, you can go on to a site called MTG Goldfish, and once you do some digging and find out which sets you have cards from, if you want to, you can go under their pricing and then go to each set. Now if you want to, this is if you want to get real in depth and find out, extract every $5 card from your collection to gain the value of it. It'll take a lot of time, but sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Some of the newer sets, if you start getting into the stuff that was released a couple years ago, it's not really worth it to do it. But if you're looking at a bunch of mid-90s stuff, there's a bunch of uncommons worth $5 in the mid-90s. There's a bunch of commons worth $5 in the mid-90s. So it depends on the era of your cards, but you can go to... Sorry, camera cut out. Okay, so as we were saying, whether it's going to be worth it to go search for every little value of every little card depends on the era of your cards. If they look older, it might be worth going to check it out. Now, there's a really good, I don't know where to find it. I wish I had looked this up real quick, but there's a really good flow chart. You might be able to find it if you Google like Magic the Gathering set determination flowchart or something like that, and it'll give you a yes-no flowchart as to which set your cards belong to. General basis, alpha. Oh, that's bad. That's real bad. Let's just go with this one corner because that's pretty good. So alpha corners, alpha cards are going to have black borders, no date on the bottom, no set symbol, and the corners are going to be much more rounded than most other cards, right? I don't think I have any alpha just laying around here, but generally, you know, most card corners are gonna look more like that. Alpha is gonna be way more rounded. Now, beta looks exactly like alpha. They look exactly the same. The only difference is the corners. So When you're looking at the differences between alpha and beta, neither are going to have a date. It'll just have the artist's name here. Neither are going to have a set symbol. Obviously, they'll look old. They won't use this sideways tap symbol. The borders will be black. Alpha will have a real rounded corner. Beta will have a normal Magic the Gathering corner. The same ones that they generally have today. Each set has a little differing. I think Mirage is probably the one that there's two different printings, and some of them look like really crisp and some of them look a little rounder, but we won't get into that. So Alpha is going to most likely be, if you have any cards from Alpha, you're going to have some good money there. Beta as well, but Beta is going to be significantly less expensive than Alpha. Now Unlimited is going to have all the same cards as Beta. Beta will mostly have the same cards as Alpha, except there's no Alpha Volcanic Island and there's no Alpha Circle of Protection Black. Unlimited is going to have a white border. White border around the outside. It's going to have no date here, no set symbol, and the edge, this kind of edge between, let's draw a card here. I probably have some Unlimited I can show you too, like right here somewhere. So here's a Magic card, right? Here's the black border or white border. Is that correct? Am I doing this right? Where am I? Let me see. I'm just going to show you. So Unlimited has a white border, no date, no. Essentially, it looks like Alpha and Beta and has the same cards for the most part, but does not have a black border. It has a white border. Let me see if I can find. Oh, I do have some Alpha and Betas right here. Of course, no Unlimited though. Well, there's a revised. Hold please. Clearly I'm not a professional YouTuber. I still have not learned my, oh good, there's a 4th edition too, so we can look at that. I suck, guys. I'm sorry. See, I thought there was Unlimited in this pile right here. Come on, give me some. Jeez. Oh, actually, hold please. I think I have my Unlimited set, not a full set. Okay, here we go. This is good because they're all white cards too. So we're going to look at the differences. So essentially, what the point I'm trying to get across here is, if you're in the era where before they have colored set symbols, you're going to want to scan all those cards, plug all those cards in, look them all up, because most likely you've got some worth money and there's no real way to tell if you don't know what you're looking at, whether it's worth $100, $200, or $2. There's really not any Alpha worth nothing. Most Alpha commons in decent shape, even in moderately played shape, are worth a couple bucks. Basic land's worth a couple bucks too. Beta's kind of the same way. Unlimited commons are kind of worth nothing still, but Unlimited rares, Power 9, which is, anything that says Mox on it in Unlimited. The Black Lotus, Time Twister, Time Walk. If it's a blue card that says Time. Ancestral Recall, Time Vault. Time Vault? It's been a long day. So, you're going to want to look all those up. Take the time to scan all the old stuff in. Now, if it's got a set symbol that looks like this, that's Fallen Empires. Something like that. Close? I'm pretty close on that. And it says 1994 on the bottom, and it's got a black border, and generally the art's pretty cool. Don't scan any of those in. There's nothing in that set worth any money. Rainbow Veil is a land from that, and if you come across it, it's worth a couple bucks. I don't think there's really anything else worth any money in that set, so don't waste your time. So let's look. So these are all kind of core sets, and they're all right in a row. That one's not white; it's a land. Hold on, I did have a white one. Here we go. Okay, so I believe we've already looked at the difference in these, but it's interesting because here you have Unlimited. See that beveled edge and that flat black line? That's pretty much the only way to tell the difference between Unlimited and Revised. This middle one's going to be Revised. We're going from oldest to newest. All right, well, bear with me. That's like the 8th time the camera's cut out. But so we were looking at how to tell the difference between Unlimited, Revised, and 4th edition. So no date on the bottom of Unlimited, just the card name, or just the artist name. Same with Revised. 4th edition is going to have, let's see if we can zoom in there enough. It'll say, there you go, 1995 on the bottom. All right. 5th edition will look very similar, but it'll say 1997. The way to tell the difference between Revised and Unlimited is this beveled edge right here. You see? Flat black line, beveled edge. Anyway, so that's that. Now, once you get into 4th edition, it's mostly not worth it to scan every card because most of 4th edition is not really worth anything. I would, if you hit a big stack of 4th edition, I would go to MTG Goldfish, and with most of the sets, like, let me adjust, like Fallen Empire. Well, we already talked about Fallen Empires not really having any value. Ice Age is starting to have some value. That's got a little snowflake. That one, there's some $20 cards and whatnot. There's some decent like $5 uncommon or $5 commons and uncommons. A couple like $10 uncommons. Demonic Consultation and well, Necropotence is a rare. There's some good cards in Ice Age that are starting to value up a little bit. For that, I would go to MTG Goldfish. Look up pricing for the set. Once you determine if it's 4th edition, 5th edition, Ice Age, Fallen Empire, Homeland's also garbage, doesn't have anything worth real value in it. Yep, I'm a professional YouTuber. No. But pretty much if you're looking at Alpha, Beta, or Unlimited, and also Revised at this point, but your Revised heavy hitters are going to be Wheel of Fortune, Mana Vault, the Dual Lands, Brain Geyser, Copy Artifact, but also go to, Goldfish, look at pricing, see what you can hover over and see what the cards look like, and then you can easily sort through and see what's worth money and what's not. Once you get to 4th edition and 5th edition, most of it's not worth money. Then once you get into like Stronghold and stuff like that, again, go online, look at your set symbols. This is going to tell you which set it's from. And then go on Goldfish. Now, it won't give you really accurate pricing on the singles, but it'll give you an idea of what's worth money and what's not. Here's the main thing. Most Magic cards are worth nothing. 10 cents. Majority of Magic cards that are printed are worth 10 cents. So if you've got 10,000 cards, you might only have $50 worth of cards. Certain Magic cards are worth thousands of dollars. Do the research. Do the research to find out what sets you're dealing with. If you've got newer stuff, go through, sort by the red symbols, the gold symbols. Find out if you have 4th edition. Find out if you have Alpha and Beta. Find out there's first 4 Horseman sets are, Antiquities, Arabian Nights, Legends, and the Dark. They all have printings with white borders in a set called Chronicles. Not all the cards, but Make sure you're not messing up Chronicles and Arabian Nights or Legends or the Dark. Arabian Nights is a scimitar symbol. Legends is kind of like... Legends... Where'd my marker go? Here it is. Legends kind of looks like... kind of like this. Right? Arabian Nights kind of looks like... Well, it looks like a scimitar, so it's kind of like this. Now, all these original sets, the Dark is a moon, and Antiquities is like an anvil. So it's kind of like, right? These are the first 4 expansions. Other than Alpha and Beta, this is going to be where a lot of money is. Alpha, Beta, Unlimited. We'll put Unlimited on there too. There's a lot of money in these sets. Now, if they're black border, you've probably got some cash there. If they're white border, that's from a reprint set called Chronicles, and it's also garbage. There's a couple cards worth some money. Blood Moon, Concordant Crossroads, Ashnod's Altar. That's pretty much it. Do the research to figure out what sets you have. Go to MTG Goldfish, figure out your sets first, and then figure out which cards from that set are worth money. And then you can easily sort, know what to scan, and then you can determine what's best for you. Selling piecemeal or selling as one lot. You know, if you're doing eBay and TCG Player and that kind of stuff, you're going to get hit with a bunch of fees. If you're doing Facebook, you can probably get rid of a decent amount of the higher end stuff for 10% below TCG low. If you're a new seller, you're going to have to eat 3% PayPal fees and whatnot. But you can get around, you know, probably 80% net. I'll leave you with this. Don't not do the research. You might have thousands of dollars worth of cards. You might have nothing. You know, most people who go to sell a collection and don't have any idea what's in it, majority of the time there's between nothing and like a little bit. But sometimes you can have big money. I have a deal, as you've seen in a couple of these videos probably, or go back and watch. I think one of the videos is called A Collection from a Friend. Is it Trash or Treasure or something like that? And another one that'll probably get uploaded pretty soon. I have some people around the country that just send me boxes of cards. I dig through it, I evaluate it, and then I send them cash. And hopefully they, you know, make some money on top of what they spent on it. I've done plenty of deals with people who don't know what their collection is worth. I said, look, you can do all the work to figure out and get a list together for me, and I can look at the list and I can give you an offer, and then we can do the deal through PayPal Goods and Services. When it comes in, I can audit it, and then we can talk about if we need to adjust pricing one way or the other. We can do that. Or, you know, if you want it to be super easy, I'll do all the work. Just send me the box of cards. I've got a long list of references in the Magic the Gathering community. If you send me a box of cards, you're not going to get ripped off. You know, there's a few buyers out there that are honest and trustworthy. There are names, if you are in the Facebook groups for long enough, you know the names that you can trust. And I feel like at this point I'm one of them. I have my own, this YouTube channel. I have my own personal sales group. If you'd like, you know, an invitation to that, you can feel free to send me an email and we can get you hooked up with that. It's got about 100 of my regular buyers. I've got, you know, a long list of a few hundred references from people on Facebook that have bought cards from me. I've got a TCG Player store with over 10,000 5-star reviews, which is where I do most of my business. So there are buyers out there that are trustworthy that you can literally just send a box of cards to. We'll do all the work. We'll break it down. We'll send you cash. And it's as easy as that. And then you don't have to pay the goods and services fees. So, but be careful out there. Do your homework. Do your due diligence and make sure you know what you're selling and what the value is. The best way to do it is make a list. Give that list to me. I'll tell you what my offer is. Sometimes I'm highest and sometimes I'm not. But it is what it is. You know, sometimes I'm dealing with people and I give them an offer and they're like, no, sorry, that's too low. And an hour later they come back and they say, someone just offered me, you know, full asking price. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Take the offer. And they're like, what? I thought you'd be upset. I'm like, no, I want it. The goal is for you to get the most money in your pocket as possible. If that's with me, great. If not, great too. You know, if you get more money, then that's awesome. Nobody likes to sell collectibles, especially if you're attached to it. Most of the time people are selling because they need the money, or they got it for free, or it's been in a closet forever and they had it as kids. And, you know, those scenarios are great too. You might wander into a bunch of money. But most of the time people are selling because they got to pay bills, or, you know, they really like their cards, but they haven't played in a couple of years, and, you know, they got a baby on the way, they're purchasing a home, or their car broke down, or they just got laid off. And so I want to see you get the most money for your collection, but also understand that I'm a business and I can't operate at zero cost. Now, that being said, there are situations and times where I've paid essentially a break even to people for their collection because they're hard up for cash. They need that cash now to pay some bill or something, or get their life together. And in rare occasions, I will do the work to break even, so that they can get a quick sale and get their bills paid. That's rare, but it happens occasionally. I'd say in the last 6 months, it's probably happened twice. Just do your homework. Make sure you know what you're selling. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email below. Good luck out there. I hope you have diamonds in your closet in the form of, you know, rectangles of cardboard. All right, Tim Academy. Peace.